What's going on, everyone? It's Durka of Whataweeb bringing you a new Should You Pull video for our girl, Quetzalcoatl. You should all know that Merlin is coming, so obviously everyone knows you should pull for Merlin unless you don't want the game to be quote-unquote too easy. But this isn't about Merlin, this is about the best sister, Quetz. I personally love her and would want to have her not only because I have no 5-star riders, but because I fell in love with her with Babylon. Side note, we are streaming on Twitch and will be when this video goes up. So check us out at twitch.tv/whataweeb with 2 T's. Anyway, let's get into her info and you guys can make your decision. Remember, this is all just my opinion based off of my own research and understanding. So, jumping into her card setup, she has a quick Arts Buster card setup with a Buster NP. The nice OG overall good card setup. She hits 3 times in her quick, 2 times in her arts, and with a 3-hit Buster, she gets 5 hits on her extra attack. She has decent NP gen because of her good, relatively higher NP gen rate, which makes up for maybe not as many hits as you'd want. It's already kind of interesting that she has 3 hits on her Buster, just because Busters usually have lower hits. And being a rider, she'll be critting often, so as long as you have some sort of star gen or stars being created, you know that you can get your NP gauge up with those 2 art cards. And honestly, her animations are great. The animation on her hits and her voice is just awesome. No bias there, of course. Jumping into the skills, Charisma A+. Increases party's attack for 3 turns, 5 turns CD. Standard Charisma buff, always good to have. Many characters have it. I'm sure you guys are familiar with it. Gives 21% attack buff at max level to every single character on the field. Now let's go on to something more interesting. Her second skill, Good God's Wisdom A+, grants one ally gut status for 1 turn, and increases Buster performance of them by 30% for 3 turns on a 7-turn cooldown at, max level. Really cool skill. Targetable Guts and Buster buff is very interesting, and can be used to help you survive or nuke. You can choose, but being on a 7-turn CD, it's not as spammable or a free get out of jail free card as you may want. So that choice has to be there. A lot of characters have something similar, but because it is targetable, it is very worth it. Okay, our third skill, Fighting for Freedom EX, or I like to say Lucha Libre. Increases own critical star absorption for 1 turn, increases own critical damage for 1 turn, and charges our own MP gauge by 30%. Wow, this is a nice steroid. Crit damage buff, star absorption buff, and an NP gauge charge. You can potentially do like an NP Buster chain and output so much damage because you'll just be critting all through it. And that's where she lies. Her damage is where she lies. Looking at all these skills, they're genuinely just good skills. Her second and third skills are really powerful and more unique. So I could see you focusing on those 2 skills first, depending on what you want to do with her. If you want to get to your NP and hit that, maybe the third skill. If you want to be able to use that targetable Guts and Buster performance booster, maybe that too. So, but otherwise, every one of these skills is good, and you would want to level all of them up at some point. Going into the passive skills. All right, magic resistance, which everybody has. Riding EX, which she's a rider. She's a goddess. EX, yeah. It's kind of unfortunate because she only has 1 quick card, but the same reason Arthur has it and doesn't have any quick card. 1 quick card. And of course, Goddess's Essence because she's a goddess. EX is for a little bit of damage boost and more resistance. Alright, her NP. Her Noble Phantasm is the definition of Lucha Libre. I personally love it. It looks really dope. You literally suplex someone into the ground or anything into the ground. I'm going to butcher the name here, but Quetzalcoatl, O Flame, burn the gods themselves. It's an anti-unit and anti-fortress Buster NP that deals damage to 1 enemy and NP seals. Also inflicts a burn effect with damage based off of overcharge. Overall, really good NP. You can use this on the same turn as they're about to NP, so that you pretty much get a free turn out of it. They can't NP you next turn, and you get full damage out of it. So it has both the utility and the damage aspect to it, which is just fantastic. Yeah, so honestly, not much else to say about it. It's a really cool MP. She's turns into a phoenix while suplexing someone in the ground. It's pretty dope. It's pretty dope. But moving on to her traits. She has the highest attack for a rider. She's a good HP stat and good NP gain, but with very average star gen. Otherwise, everything else is pretty much standard all around. Not going to waste too much time on it like I usually don't. And yeah, okay, moving on to CEs, just real quick. You know, 3 I ended up getting it down to. I think 3 is a good number to show you guys. Is Joint Recital, Victor to the Moon, and Limited 0 over or over 0, whatever. Anything that helps Buster and crit damage is really good on her. You could run some NP damage boosters, but using the Buster also increases her Buster NP damage. So that's why you kind of get more out of it that way. And being a rider, she's going to be critting. So get the crit out of it too, which is why I see Joint Recital is really good along with Limited 0 over and Victor to the Moon. Alright, so party members, I'll get this out of the way. Merlin, waiver. Obvious choices. Buster, Servant, Merlin. Obviously it works. It's boring, but it works. And with Merlin coming next week, I can actually mention that. Otherwise, let's talk about a real comp for her. So you want a star generator, something maybe like Jack or Fuma can work to help Quetzalcoatl output high damage and P gain by creating those stars for her. Leonidas has his Buster party buff and just the tankiness and the ability to create 25 crit stars with his NP. So that's really good because he'll be using his NP relatively often because his auto lock-on to himself also increases NP gain, which makes him a very unique but awesome unit to use with Quetz. Helena and Hans also help with crit star generation, just giving you different units. Of course, you guys already know about Hans, but Helena has a skill that gives her crit stars per turn. So, and can also help with general performance of her cards anyway, the 20% buff across the board to each card to each party member. So, Helena is just a very good support that is only looked down upon because you have things like Waver and Merlin. So that's why she's almost as common as Waver and Merlin in my stuff. But, alright, so that is done. So, should you pull for Big Sis, Quetz? The only true comparison we have here for Quetz is Ozzy right now. He's a single target rider, and Ozzy is just amazing. Helps the team out with his party MP gauge charge, but Quetz is more damage focused and personal damage instead of helping their whole team out. She can really work well by helping herself out. Yes, she does have a targetable Buster and Guts buff, but you're probably going to be using that on her more so than anyone else if you're using support to help her get stronger. That being said, under all other circumstances, I would say to pull for her. She does edge out Ozzy in damage, so that's great, but Ozzy is still technically better overall, but we also have Merlin next week, so we have to be super careful. That's why it gets like this check X mark from me. Boom, there it is on the screen. It's a maybe, right? It depends on your own personal situation. Like, I don't really want to pull for her because, one, she'll be in the GSSR banner coming up, and with Merlin coming, there's just too many things happening. And I know some people don't want to pull for Merlin. If you're not pulling for Merlin, yes, pull for her. If you are pulling for Merlin, I say wait for Merlin banner, then make your decision based off of how many quartz you get Merlin in. So usage-wise, just straight up usage-wise, yes, pull for her. But Merlin-wise, save your quartz and you make that final decision yourselves, guys. She's a great unit. I would pull for her under any other circumstance. But with Merlin being the next banner, she gets a maybe for now. Well, I do hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, remember to like, comment, subscribe to become a weeb today. Make sure to check us out on Twitch and Twitter, linked in the description below. I'll be streaming when this goes up, probably, most likely. So make sure to check it out. Otherwise, yeah, no, let me know what you think of Quetz. Let me know how you guys would use her. Are you pulling for her, or are you going to wait for Merlin? Maybe I missed something. You have any cool combos you run with her? Let me know in the comment section below. I'm always trying to learn more. And yeah, so this has been Durka, and Sayonara.